So how long have you had your dog here, Tula?
For about 2 months, going on 3, I think now.
Okay, and where did you get her from?
Jacksonville Humane Society.
And what was your experience like with them?
It was interesting. So they had a very nice facility. I think it's pretty new right now, and they just built in a hospital wing. So on that end, they were very helpful. They informed me of her medical conditions and everything, but there were some things that were not so, nice or easy about it.
Can you expand on what wasn't nice and easy?
They're really hard to get in contact with because they're so understaffed that if you call them, you're not guaranteed to get a call back that day. So when she was really sick, it was really frustrating because anytime I needed an appointment or to talk to a vet, I had to go straight there to get a quick answer.
When you got her, were there any medical conditions that she had?
She was really underweight because she had tapeworm and heartworm, and she still has heartworm. She's going through the treatment in 2 months. She was dirty. She was spayed right before I picked her up, and that incision had gotten infected, so I had to take her back right away to get her antibiotics.
So what did you think of the Humane Society when you first got there?
So the facility was really nice. It was under construction at the time, but it's finished now and it's really nice. The hospital is really nice. The staff was really nice. They had a lot of dogs. When I went there, it was free adoptions, and it was really nice to see that most of the dogs at that time had been adopted already.
That's good. So can you tell me a little bit about the process of adopting her, from when you first saw her to when you took her home?
Okay, so when I first saw her, she was so pitiful. She was just dirty and sad and skinny, and I'm like, I can't take this, I really want to get to know this dog. So I asked they have staff that you make an appointment with, and they bring the dog out and you can have a meet and greet. And then we talked about adoption papers, and I couldn't take her home right away because she had just gotten there. She was transferred from a shelter that was flooded by Hurricane Irma. So they didn't have any background on her, any paperwork, so they had to do a complete medical medical review of her. So I wasn't able to take her home right away. I actually had to wait a little over a week before I could take her home.
And then how did she look in between when you first saw her and then when you went to pick her up?
She looked in worse condition. I don't know if it was the meds or the stress or the surgery or just her condition worsening, but she seemed to have lost a little bit of weight. She was very lethargic, didn't have very much energy, no muscle tone whatsoever. So I brought her home. We gave her a bath and a nice cozy bed, and lots of love, love and attention.
The Humane Society want to know anything about you when you were picking her up and your experience with dogs or anything like that?
They didn't ask me any questions about where I lived or if I had any other pets. It was just, I think they just, they want people to adopt, and I was really interested in her, so.
Such love. How old is Tula?
So I'm not really sure. That's one of the things that I wasn't so happy about with the Humane Society. When I adopted her, the little sign on her door said she was 2. So I took her home, okay, she's not acting like a 2-year-old. I looked at her teeth, I'm like, her teeth don't look like a 2-year-old. They're kind of worn out and they're just not in great shape. So I took her to the vet and I asked them, and they said she's not. And then I asked the Humane Society, and they say, well, we're putting her in the age range between 2 and 6. And in dog years, 2 and 6 could be anything. That's a huge age gap. So I took her to a different vet and asked about her age, and they say she's probably between maybe closer to 5 and 6. And the reason her teeth are messed up is because she must have been kenneled at one point and was chewing on bars, and they just were fractured and worn down, and it's just really sad. So I'm not really totally sure about her age. It's incredibly frustrating not knowing her background, just because throughout all of this treatment and the vets, they go through the same questions all the time. What's her age? What breed? I don't know her age. I don't know her breed. I don't know I don't know anything about her. I don't know where she came from. I think she was used for breeding. I feel like she was neglected, maybe a little bit abused. She's really sensitive around strangers and especially men. But yeah, I don't even know her age or her breed, so incredibly frustrating. Right now she has heartworm, and they told me when I adopted her that she had heartworm, and the Humane Society is really awesome because if you adopt a dog with heartworm, they treat the dog for free. Anything related to the heartworm, they will treat for free. Okay. But they did not really prepare me for caring for a dog with heartworm. So first the dog has to be tested. You can also get x-rays to see what stage, but I felt she already knew she had an advanced stage of that. So the next step to that would be putting the dog on doxycycline for 28 days. It's an antibiotic, and putting them on a probiotic at the same time, because antibiotics can kill the healthy bacteria in their stomach and make it hard to digest food, and we needed to put weight on her. And then there's a 28-day period of no medication, and throughout this whole process you continue giving them like the preventative heartworm treatment that normal dogs get. And then there's 28 days of no medication, and then after that she gets 2 injections. She's due in 2 weeks for this part of the treatment. 2 injections with an overnight stay at the vet's office, and then 28 days of rest. So they didn't tell me she has a more advanced stage of it, so at that point she's already showing clinical signs such as heavy breathing and coughing and being lethargic and skinny. So we had to be really careful about the level of activity and how much because she had no muscle tone, so we wanted to build up those muscles but not too quickly, so we only short walks. I didn't know heavy breathing and coughing was a symptom, so we had a couple of emergency room visits as well, just because it was just affecting her a lot.
So have you noticed an improvement in her since you got her versus now 2.5 months later?
Yes, a huge improvement. She's put on a lot of weight. Before you could see like every bone in her body, and she actually has some meat on her. She has way more energy ever since we put weight on her and put her on the doxycycline to weaken the heartworm. She has energy now. She can jump up on the couch. She's excited to go for long walks. She's learning to play with toys. She didn't know what to do with toys when we first adopted her, but now she really likes toys, and she's just overall happier. Her eyes look clearer. Her coat is a lot healthier. Just overall improvement. I've put in a great deal of money into this dog. I think within the first 3 weeks, I put in over $1,000 because of the emergency room visits, because she was having trouble breathing, just trying that infection of her incision, the surgical incision, had to keep up with that. And then she had contracted a GI infection from switching her food while on antibiotics and almost died from that, and that was another emergency visit and overnight stay at the hospital, at the vet hospital. So I put in a lot of money. Yep. Special food because of the GI infection, so yeah. I definitely would say she's the cutest dog. She has this squishy face, and I just love it. I would do it all again. Toot, 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 toot.